When they got to the 400-yard mark, the lieutenant yelled, "Now, now." And we opened up with everything we had. The snow turned red. Enemy soldiers were falling like dominoes, one after another. I was 19 years old that day, sitting behind a machine gun, living through the longest day of my life. My name is Marco Benedetti, and this is my story. I was born in New York City in 1925. You do the math. I am 95 years old and still counting. I grew up in a big Italian neighborhood in the Bronx where we did all the usual little boy things. My parents were immigrants from Italy, and we grew up as normal as anyone could during the Great Depression. Then came December 7th, 1941. That day changed everything. I was 16 years old. It was a Sunday afternoon, and I was riding my bicycle through the neighborhood. I stopped at a grocery store to buy some candy, but when I walked in, everyone was frozen in place, huddled around the radio. "Shut up, kid. President Roosevelt is speaking." Something about the Japanese in Pearl Harbor. I jumped back on my bicycle and pedaled home as fast as I could. I burst through the front door, gasping for breath. "Papa, turn on the radio, quick!" We caught President Roosevelt's voice saying those words that would change our lives forever. A state of war exists between the Empire of Japan and the United States of America. Then my father did something I will never forget. He turned around and called his 4 sons to gather around him. I was the middle boy. "Boys," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "they will not take me because I am too old. But I expect my sons to go. Nowhere in this entire world can you come to a place with nothing and build what we have built. This country gave us everything. This country must not fail." The next morning, my brothers and I started scheming. We let the few scraggly hairs on our cheeks grow out. We put on our father's fedora hats. We marched down to the recruiting office. We want to join the Army. We are 18 years old. The recruiting sergeant was not fooled. "Go home, kids. Come back when you are really 18. I had to wait 2 more years. Finally, on March 23rd, 1943, I turned 18 for real. It was October before I was called and sent to Fort Benning, Georgia. A big sergeant lined us up on the first day. We were all 18-year-old kids, scared but trying not to show it. "My name is Master Sergeant Mallory. Do not give me that sir crap. Save that for the officers. When I say jump, you say how far and how high." He scared the hell out of us. But that was exactly what we needed. 19 weeks of infantry training, then 4 more weeks of advanced training, then 2 more weeks of heavy weapons. We kept asking when we would finally get into the fight. One day they took us to a big open field. 3 transport planes came roaring out of the sky. Men started throwing themselves out of those doors. Little white things blossomed above them and they floated down like dandelion seeds. Paratroopers, brand new in World War II. We had never seen anything like it. A captain stepped forward. "This is the United States Parachute Corps. We are looking for a few good men. Who wants to volunteer?" We looked at each other. "Throw yourself out of an airplane? On purpose?" Then the captain added 5 magic words. "That is $50 extra a month." My hand shot up so fast I almost dislocated my shoulder. Back to Fort Benning for jump training. They turned us into human dynamos. They taught us every way to kill a man and every way to defend yourself. But more importantly, they built something inside us. That aggressive spirit that tells you when you think you cannot do any more, yes, you can. Part of our training was parachute packing. Here is the kicker. They told us we would make our first jump using the parachute we packed ourselves. You never saw a more attentive class in your life. The day of my first jump arrived. Everyone was putting on a brave face, but you could see the fear in their eyes. We climbed into the plane. Then came the commands. Stand up, hook up, stand in the door. I was staring at that open door with nothing but sky beyond it. And in that moment, I thought about my father. He was the one who took me to the train station when I left. The whole walk there, he did not say a single word. The train pulled in. He still had not said anything. Just before it pulled away, he finally spoke. Figlio mio, my son, just do not do anything to make me hang my head in shame. Standing in that airplane door, those words came flooding back. The first guy jumped. The second guy. Now my turn. There was a moment of hesitation. Then I threw myself out into nothing. The first second is pure terror. Nothing holding you. Nothing touching you. Then the static line pulls your chute out. At the end of 30 feet, the chute deploys. Suddenly, instead of falling, you are floating. I looked up. That big, beautiful canopy spread out above me. I was swinging gently beneath it like a baby in a cradle. All that fear melted away. I did it. I was a paratrooper. After jump school, they shipped us overseas on the Queen Mary. We landed in Scotland, then took trains down into England. Meanwhile, the 101st Airborne Division had taken a real beating in Holland. Operation Market Garden was a complete failure. They had lost 3,000 men. We were the replacements. Fresh meat to fill in for the guys who got killed. It was December, and everybody thought wars wind down in the wintertime. Nobody expected what was coming. December 16th, 1944. The Germans had secretly saved up 25 divisions. 9 of those were panzer divisions with the newest tanks. They hit the Allied lines in the Ardennes forest. Hitler's plan was to capture the port of Antwerp, where all our supplies came in. But to get to Antwerp, they had to go through a little town called Bastogne. General Eisenhower sent word to the 101st Airborne, get up there and hold that town. At 4 a.m, a sergeant came banging through our barracks. Drop your socks and grab your equipment. We are moving out. Then the problem started. I was a machine gunner. I did not have a machine gun. All I had was a trench knife. Some guys did not even have helmets. That truck ride was a nightmare. All day and all night on frozen roads. No stops. We were freezing. No winter clothes. Just summer jackets and cotton pants. By the time we got to Bastogne, we were in terrible shape. Exhausted, frozen, angry. What saved us was luck. The Germans had destroyed 4 American divisions in a single day. The survivors were retreating through Bastogne. So we walked up to them and started taking their weapons. I found a guy carrying a light .30 caliber machine gun. That looks awfully heavy. Let me help you carry it. I took that gun right off his shoulder. At least for the first fight, I was armed. We took the first hit. We had not had any food or water since we got off the trucks. And now we had to dig in. The ground was frozen solid. You would hit it with your shovel, and it bounced right back in your face. It took hours just to dig one foxhole. About 3 a.m, we finally flopped into our hole. The sergeant came around. We are moving out. Dig in over there. We stumbled to the new position like zombies. Started digging again. Collapsed into a shallow hole. The sergeant came around again. We are moving out. The last position, we just scraped the snow aside and lay down on frozen ground. We were spent. That morning, the fog was so thick you could not see your hand in front of your face. But as daylight came, the fog lifted like a curtain. What we saw made our blood run cold. A wide open field covered in snow. At the far end, movement. Lots of movement. The Germans were going to attack across that open ground. Then we heard the tanks. That horrible grinding sound of treads on frozen ground. The whole world exploded. Artillery, rockets, mortars. All you could do was press your face into the bottom of your foxhole and curse yourself for not digging it deeper. When the barrage stopped, we looked up, a row of tanks rolling toward us. Behind them, German infantry, hundreds of them. They had just destroyed 4 American divisions and expected to walk right over us, too. The tanks were firing point blank into foxholes. When a shell hit, the man inside just disappeared. The field sloped down about 400 yards from where we were dug in. Our lieutenant set our machine gun for 400 yards. He wanted to catch him on the way up the slope. 500 yards. 450. 400. The lieutenant screamed. Now! Now! We opened up with everything we had. It was a slaughter. The snow turned red. German soldiers falling by the dozens. They did not know what was happening. The ones who could still move turned and ran. The first attack was repulsed. The next day, the Germans surrounded us, completely cut off. No supplies, no reinforcements, no way out. They captured our field hospital. All the beds, blankets, medicine, everything. 1 doctor and 1 Belgian nurse escaped for the next 8 days. That was our entire medical team. On the second day, my friend Tommy Novak got hit. The only place for the wounded was the floor of the church. Those were the only stone walls still standing. We pulled drapes and curtains from destroyed houses to wrap around the wounded men. I found Tommy lying on the church floor. He was pale but managed a weak smile. "Tommy, how are you doing?" "Just a couple pieces of shrapnel on my legs. I will be out of here tomorrow." Before I left, I asked, "Anything I can do for you?" "Yeah, go find me something to drink." "Where the hell am I going to find something to drink?" "We are surrounded. Go look in the taverns. You might get lucky." It was snowing hard, artillery shells dropping all around, but I went slopping down the road looking for a tavern. The first one was destroyed, nothing salvageable. The second tavern still had a bar standing. I walked behind it and pulled a beer tap. Beer came out, but I had nothing to put it in. No bottle, no jug, nothing. I looked at my head, took off my helmet, rinsed it out with some beer, then filled it up. I went back to the church. "Tommy, I got some beer. Holy cow." He sat up, eyes wide. I tilted the helmet and started pouring beer into his mouth. The other wounded guys saw what was happening. "Hey, give me some of that!" I was like a mother cow going from man to man, giving each one a mouthful of beer from my helmet. I ran out. Tommy grabbed my arm. "Go get some more!" I went back to the tavern, filled up the helmet again. As I stepped out the door, a shell landed nearby, knocked me flat. Beer went everywhere, but I was not hurt. I got up and headed back with half a helmet full. Standing in the church doorway was the regimental surgeon, Major Hoffman. He did not look happy. "What the hell do you think you are doing, soldier?" I snapped to attention, beer sloshing. "Sir, bringing aid and comfort to the wounded." "Listen, smart guy, I have chest cases and stomach cases in there. You give them beer, you will kill them. Put that helmet on and get out of here." I jammed the helmet on my head. Beer ran down my face. I slopped back to my foxhole before he changed his mind. As far as I was concerned, it was just another incident during the war. 65 years later, I went back to Bastogne for the first time. When I came home from the war, I was 20 years old, a different person from the kid who went in. I had seen things no human should see. I looked in the mirror and talked to myself, you are not going to have nightmares and flashbacks for the rest of your life. You are going to take all that stuff, cutting men in half with a machine gun, and lock it away in the back of your mind. You cannot forget it, but you can isolate it. I was successful. Met a wonderful woman, got married, became a school teacher, had kids and grandkids. For 65 years, I did not touch anything military. Then my wife's Alzheimer's got worse. I had to put her in the nursing home. I was 85 years old. She was my everything. Now she was gone. I went into a deep depression, just sitting around, waiting to die. One day I met a woman with a Belgian accent in a grocery store. You were there during the war? With the 101st? I am from Bastogne. You must go back. The people have never forgotten. There are monuments everywhere. I thought, what the hell for? I spent a lifetime trying to forget. Then she said, all the American soldiers who died are buried in a beautiful cemetery nearby. That changed my mind. I needed to pay respects to the men buried there. My daughter came with me, 3 days in Bastogne, then Paris. That is not how it worked out. On our way to exchange money, my daughter spotted a mannequin in the shop window wearing a paratrooper uniform. She dragged me inside. A big man came around the corner, a Dutch paratrooper officer. May I help you? I was here during the war. His eyes went wide. He rushed toward me. I went into a defensive stance. Instead, he picked me up in a bear hug. Sir, where have you been? There are so few of you left. What unit were you with? H Company, 501st. Come with me. I will show you exactly where your company was positioned. He took us to a ridge outside town. He pointed to different spots. H Company was here, here, and here. And then he looked me in the eye, and that was your foxhole. How the hell do you know that? Your company commander kept detailed records. He drew diagrams on K-ration cardboard. You were the only machine gun in the 3rd platoon, correct? Yes. The other guy got killed. You are standing on the exact spot where 65 years ago you were a 19-year-old kid waiting for the German attack. I broke down completely. At lunch, I ordered 3 bottles of wine. Put 3 soldiers together with wine, and you know what happens. We started telling stories. I told them about the beer. They stared at me. You were the soldier who brought beer in a helmet? Do you not know you are famous in Europe? Nobody believed that story was true. The waiter brought 4 bottles of Airborne beer with ceramic bowls shaped like army helmets. The label showed a paratrooper holding a helmet full of beer. A Belgian brewer created this to honor the mythical American soldier, and now we find out it is true. And the man is sitting right here. I laughed. Maybe I should get a cut of the beer sales. The story went all over the internet. I started getting invitations to speak at military bases. At 89, I wrote a book. My family had said, Pop, you should write a book. I told them, what makes you think I can write a book? My daughter said, when you tell stories, people sit fascinated, just tell the story. That clicked. I used a computer program that types what you say. If I had to type it, it would never have gotten written. Today, I am better known for what I did with a helmet of beer than what I did with my machine gun. 2 Purple Hearts, 2 Bronze Stars, the French Legion of Honor, 15 medals. But what does everyone want to hear? Tell us about the beer. At 85, I should have been winding down. Instead, my life took off. I go to Europe 3 times a year. Normandy, Holland, Bastogne. What is my future at 95? I do not know. But as long as I am able, I am going to keep telling the story. Keep honoring the men who did not come home, because somebody has to remember, and that is the end of my story. A toast to all the good people in the world.
I can still see it.